sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a big Thursday show. Just to be quite frank with you, it's not as big a blockbuster as yesterday's incredible show where we had Sal Paolantonio, David Sampson, former president of the Marlins, and his great podcast, TJ Reeves, Bruce Gradkowski. That's all available by the way, and you must listen to all that stuff. It's the law. All you got to do is go to the app, go to the website, go to Spotify. It has everything on there. So it's all there for you. It lives in perpetuity. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show today. We got a good one for you today. Chris Torello is going to join us at 10:15. We'll talk a little recruiting. He's always into that, always on top of that, and we'll get into some what's next for the Buccaneers. Fun stuff. We got Jimbo Fisher calling Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban ass or clown ass. He didn't even get it right. It's ass clown, not clown ass, but whatever. It works. So we got that for you. We're going to look back on Jason Light's press conference. We didn't get to it yesterday as he met the media the other day. A couple of good nuggets in there, so we'll listen to a little bit of that. Brian Flores made the rounds yesterday as far as his lawsuit. We talked about that. We'll hit it a couple times to see some of the fallout from it. Lots of good stuff coming your way today. And Nick Geddes joining me here from Outkick.com. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good this morning. We got lots of stuff to get into as we try to navigate what's going on locally, but a lot of national stuff, though, which is still okay for us.
Yes, that's all good. Because we're going to have a whole lot of local sports. We got no hockey until the 23rd.
Yeah.
All the players are going to the All-Star game. We'll be reporting that. Greg Wolf, by the way, is going to the All-Star game too, my colleague. So we'll hook him up from Vegas tomorrow. See how he's doing, Vegas baby.
Hey, but the one thing though, we'd love to have Brady back, but with him not here, I mean, we get to speculate.
That's right. So, and we're going to do that. We're going to go through all the main candidates here in our first segment and kind of look at what's next on the table. A lot of conjecture out there, and what we think is best for the Buccaneers. And there's a lot of good. There's so many moving parts to this that I think are absolutely fascinating. So we'll dive right into that right now. And we did a poll the other day, and Russell Wilson was the runaway winner, right? 52%.
Yes, yeah. He was. So
and he is not being mentioned hardly at all here. I think Vegas has him down at about the 15th most likely to move. And I don't. Of course, they said that about Brady as well. I don't get that because. I know that Seattle has come out and said we're not trading Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson has also come out and said I want to be traded. That was last year. And if you look at, and again, I don't listen to a damn thing any of these guys say publicly because it's absolutely meaningless. You got to read the tea leaves. You got to look at what the situation is. And, for me, the Seahawks are in a rebuild. I mean, you look at what's going on in their division, that roster is just not good enough to compete in any way, shape, or form with or without Russell Wilson. And the only way they have a chance to rebuild in any and they draft like crap, so maybe they don't want to get draft picks, but maybe you should turn that around, is to get draft picks. And the only person they have that's going to produce draft picks is Russell Wilson. And it can be significant. And the Bucs have to decide whether they want to pay that freight. So I'll make that case here in a little bit. But right now, as far as Vegas goes, Jimmy Garoppolo is the leader in the clubhouse, so to speak. Pros and cons of Jimmy Garoppolo. First of all, the pros. What's that? The ridiculous record number when he was healthy? I think with Kyle Shanahan, when he's healthy, Garoppolo is 35-16 with Garoppolo, 8-28 without him. The guy's got a little something going on, but as we've seen many, many times in the clutch, he seems to absolutely evaporate. And to me, that is the number one quality you need in a quarterback. You need a guy that can perform in the clutch and win close games because that's the difference between a non-playoff team and a playoff team and a playoff team and a championship team. That's it. I mean, if we haven't seen that with Brady, then you don't know football. That's what it is. And that's not Garoppolo's. It's not been his calling card.
Well, I'll give this to you right here. And you put out the stat there. He's definitely a winner. I said it. He's got the second highest winning percentage next to Tom Brady. Yep. He's into the league. And he's only really had 2 full years, right? And I told you, Super Bowl at 3 points away, and you could say, oh,
oft injured is not a good quality.
I get that, but you could say, oh, well, he wasn't good in clutch time. Well, Aaron Rodgers, I have 10, 11 years of telling me that he's not good in clutch time, and he's going to cost a hell of a lot more. He's going to take a lot more capital to trade. And as far as I know, Jimmy Garoppolo could take you the same place that Aaron Rodgers can. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true.
It's not.
It's dead true.
It's not crazy to say that. And because although the perception of Rodgers is that he's this incredible winner, and the fact of the matter is he's not. In the clutch, he has not been good. We saw it again this year. What have they gone to 3 consecutive conference championships, 2 consecutive, and then flamed out in the first round this year?
I mean, I think the guy's been
at home.
Like 6 total in the last decade.
Yeah, at home when your defense held the opponent to what, 17 points?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on, bro. You can't – you had no points in the second half. I mean, that's not great quarterbacking. I'm not – plus at 30 – what, he's going to be 38 years old.
Be 39 by the time the next year comes around.
All right, so let's compare that. And Mike Tannenbaum came out and said today on Get Up that this would be the price for Aaron. Plus Aaron Rodgers' salary next year, and you could double check this, I think it's $46 million. So if the Bucs get him, they're not going to be able to afford Jensen. They're not going to be able to afford Chris Godwin. I think you take both of those guys off the table. And then at that point, what do you got? You got Aaron Rodgers. That's all you got. And I don't necessarily think that's going to get it done, to be quite honest. So I think in a long run, Aaron Rodgers would not be my first selection, not even close. So Tannenbaum said it would take at least 2 first-round picks and a good young player. If you're the Bucs, do you deal this year's first, 27th overall, next year's first, a third-rounder this year, and last year's first, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka for Aaron Rodgers? No way. I'm voting. Hell no. No way. That's on Stephen Chia's, which we've just retweeted. And, wow, 59% of idiots say yes. What are you doing? We got to get Aaron Rodgers, man. Yeah, this is a great idea. I mean, yeah, but there's a cost that comes with it. All right, so let's compare that to a guy who I think plays really well in the clutch, and that's Russell Wilson, who has carried his team to a Super Bowl, and within one stupid play of 2 successive Super Bowls, can we say that? And has constantly kept his team with a very bad roster in games. I mean, to me, he's a top 5 quarterback in this league, and it's not even close. I would actually put him in the top 3. I know this year, and that's that recency bias. You're going to say, "Oh, what did he do this year?" Another crappy team, and he kind of held them afloat. So his salary this year, okay, which is what counts, is $19 million. $19 million. That signing bonus is going to get eaten up by the Seahawks. And $22 million next year. He'll be 34 this year, 35 in 2023, and then he's a free agent. So it's essentially you're getting him for 2 years. And I don't think the compensation would be as much, but I think you're going to have to give up a couple of first rounders, which I'll gladly give you my 27th this year and my 29th next year, because if you have Russell Wilson, you're going to be in the house and you're going to be picked late again. So 27 and 29, those are not premium picks. They're damn near second round picks. You're not getting Pro Bowlers with there, most likely. At 90% chance you're not getting a Pro Bowler. And I can get 2 years at least with Russell Wilson and definitely sign him to a contract extension after that. And then this is the other thing that Russell Wilson brings that I don't think Garoppolo brings. And I'm taking Aaron Rodgers off the table because it's not doable. It's just not doable from a salary cap standpoint because you're not going to be able to sign anybody else. Garoppolo, James, and we'll talk about Jameis here in a second. But Carson Wentz, please, I don't even don't even start. Some of these others, I mean, these to me are the only guys that I'm looking at. Kirk Cousins, nah. I'd rather go with Kyle Trask at that point. And Trask is obviously part of this. But Russell Wilson brings the gravitas that will bring Ryan Jensen back, that will bring Chris Godwin back, that will keep Mike Evans happy, that will bring a tight end. An experienced tight end will want to play with Russell Wilson big time. He re-energizes your base right away. His leadership, very Brady-esque. I mean, he's as close to Brady except for the height as I think any of these guys are. And I would put Rodgers' leadership not even close to Brady's. So to me, I'll give up 2 2s and a 1. I mean, 2 1s and a 2 year.
If you had to, though, still in the scenario that was thrown out there, good young player, would you part with Joe Tryon in that scenario?
Who played at Washington, by the way.
Yes.
Kind of a coming home. Yes, I would. I would give you, if to get the deal done, if I have to give up Tryon and 2 1s, which essentially is basically 3 1s. But again, Tryon was a late pick.
Yeah.
Late pick. And I like the kid, but do I think at this point he's a can't miss great pass rusher that's going to turn into, a Von Miller? No. I mean, I think he's going to be a really, really good player. But if I can get Russell Wilson, quarterback is everything.
Yeah.
Quarterback is, and then, you could try to go find another, Anthony Nelson played really well this year. He needs a chance to play. There are other guys that can fill those roles, especially when you have Shaq Barrett on the other side and Vita Vea rushing from the middle. I mean, we got other guys.
I'd rather be looking for that than a quarterback.
Right. Think about what your options are here, other if you don't have Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson immediately makes you a Super Bowl contender. And as Jason Light said the other day, he's got 9 Pro Bowlers and 7 of them are under contract. You bring Russell Wilson here, you got 10, and you'll get the other ones under contract. And I think the compensation is large, but again, you want to be chasing this quarterback thing for another 15 years? Do you? You have a ready-made roster, and every one of these other guys brings warts. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo inspires the fan base. I don't think it inspires his teammates, whose would-be teammates, to stick around. I don't think so. I think Russell Wilson does, and that's a big part of this. Yep. Everybody's talking about, the Bucs are going to disintegrate. They're going to lose all these free agents, which I think is stupid. I mean, where are these guys going to go? And that's better than here, especially if you bring in Russell Wilson. I mean, it's just, if you bring Russell Wilson in, it's like, here we go again. We're using the same Tom Brady. He's not Tom Brady. I get it. But he's about as good as you could find right now in the league that's somewhat available.
Yeah, and I bet that it's going to happen because, I mean, if you go off the timeline of last year, we already know Stafford was already traded by this time last year. That came quick.
Yes.
And right now you got all these different, the Shrine Bowl, you got the Senior Bowl going on right now. You have some of the best guys in the draft, all of them basically that are right there, the Kenny Pickett's of the world, who had said one of his only 2 interviews were with the Bucs. And of course, they're going to do their due diligence on that. So that's going to play a part too, because that draft is in April. And all this is going to become there. So are the Bucs going to be keened in on some guy in the draft if they want to go in that direction? Kyle Trask is the guy who, we already drafted, put 2nd round good capital in. Do they feel confident enough with him? Or are they going to say, we got to maximize our window, even without Brady, which I think is the right move? It's all got to come together here. And I think this month, you're going to have something. I don't think it's going to go into March, and they're not going to have their plan at where they're going for quarterback yet.
I think it's going to happen quicker than that. I'm trying to see where Pickett is mocked to go in the mid-teens, right?
Yeah, you'd have to if you really wanted Kenny Pickett, you're going to have to get. I mean, the guy could go in the top 10 if he wanted to. You never know. I think that's playing with fire. And unless there's somebody you're confident you can get where you're at, I just feel like that's such a risky, especially since it's all the way in April. I don't think you can wait that long for a guy you might want. And I don't think it helps to have that guy that you would draft and Kyle Trask in the same room.
Exactly. That makes no sense. Then you're wasting last year's 2nd round pick. By the way, Seattle does not have a 1st round pick.
No, they traded all them away for Jamal Adams.
Yeah. So they need picks.
Yes.
They desperately need picks. So I was thinking maybe they could get a quarterback in this draft. Of course, if you give them 2 1s and a 2, they can package up that 1 and a 2 from the Buccaneers and probably move up to get Pickett or another quarterback of their choice. And they could also go sign Garoppolo, who obviously knows the division, could go play there. And then, they're picking up Garoppolo probably with very minimal draft capital, and then receiving 2 1s and a 2 or whatever the Bucs are going to send them. That starts them on their way to a rebuild, and they've got a quarterback. So, if you're Seattle, is that not the way you're going? Of course you are. And you say, well, they're not going to trade in the division and the conference. They understand they're not going to be competitive for another 2-3 years. So trading within the conference really means nothing. It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. You're not competitive anyway. So what does it matter? Now, do you have to face the Bucs next year? And Russell, okay, so what? You got to, you know what? If you're the Seattle fans, you just got to suck it up, Buttercup. You had 12 great years with Russell Wilson, and he's moving on. And that's just part of it. Otherwise, how does Seattle get back? You got no draft picks. You got a horrible roster. And you got Russell Wilson. Woohoo!
You don't even have a lot of money either.
Yeah,
They don't have anything.
So, yeah, they need a complete and utter rebuild. That's why I think he's the best choice. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Chris Torello is going to join us. I want to ask him about how Jameis Winston fits in this whole thing. A lot of people are saying, Romano wrote a column today about, he may be the best pick. Really? Well, there's some merit to it. We'll talk about it next. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective. Soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid threes, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. Just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at PalermoPA.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Chris Torello from Spectrum Sports 360. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. Been busy with some of this news, but we're finally getting back on track with the sleep schedule, and
nice.
I think it's good. The Bucs are, look, Tom Brady. This is how he wanted it, right? He just wanted a simple message, and then when other big news came along, it was like, he was like, nothing happened. So
yeah.
I think that's exactly what he wanted. So
yeah, I don't know if he's mad at Brian Flores or happy. Just take me. I mean, hold my beer, Tom. I got something to drop here on the NFL today. Isn't it funny how the Brady stuff went right by the wayside on that deal? Yeah.
Oh man, I think it's crazy between those two stories. But I was listening to some stuff up in New York, and I remember I think it was one of the shows up there. They said, I mean, Tom Brady retired at 9:30 this morning, and he's old news now.
Yes.
And it was like 3:00. So it's crazy how quickly we move on. But that's what happens when you don't make a big deal. I mean, Peyton Manning had the big press conference. I think Eli Manning had a press conference. And that's fine. You have the right to go out the way you want to go out. But that's how I think Brady always wanted to, just speaks to the New England do your job mentality of do your job, win on the scoreboard, and then you'll celebrate in private. And I think that's exactly how he wanted things to go. And I'm sure he'll say something in Man in the Arena, and he'll say something in his own videos, but he's going to control that narrative like he has for 22 years.
You don't think he'll do a press conference at all for the Bucs? A farewell, anything like that?
Why?
It's a good
Why
point.
should he?
It's a good point. I don't know. Maybe for the organization.
Screw him. No. He doesn't know the Tampa Bay Bucs. He doesn't. No, seriously. I'm not trying to be rude. And I love the people over at the Bucs. This has nothing to do with the Bucs.
No,
Tom Brady does not owe anybody anything. He first off, the Bucs. You know how hard it was for them to wrangle him up during the pandemic before he officially got to the stadium, before he got to Lumbach, and before he was part of their training program, and before he was doing all these interviews. He was going on Howard Stern.
Right.
He was doing whatever he wanted to do. He barely would get. He was like they knew the only reason he had to do the Thursday press conference because it was mandated. The Tommy and Gronky, that was because they wanted to do Tommy and
right,
Gronky.
Exactly.
It was. I'm sure the social media people who are terrific, they were probably all in and had ideas, and they probably went along with things. But if Tom Brady doesn't want to do something, he is not going to do it, and that is not. And that's no offense to the Bucs or anybody else.
I think the fans would like to see a farewell press conference, and I know it means nothing to Brady. Well, I shouldn't say that. It might. I kind of feel like he should do something like that. I mean, I guess the controlling the message is what everybody wants to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best thing to do. And I do think in some way that the fans deserve kind of that send-off press conference where we get to ask him a lot of stupid questions. And he has to answer them. Yeah, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, he's not doing it.
Well, but think about it, JP. What you just said, it starts with, the fans deserve it. But at the end of the day, who's the ones that are going to be there? It's going to be the media. It's going to be us. And it's probably going to be on a Zoom. Yeah. But he'll do it on a Zoom. It's not like he's going to do it at the Advent Health Training Center. Like, why does he need to go back there to prove anything? So, look. You'll get, I think for him, I don't know if he'll show up at the Super Bowl or if they'll put him on somewhere, but I think, his whole plan was he wanted to do it this week. And I think he just didn't want it to be on Adam Schefter's terms. He wasn't going to give it to Jim Gray, thank God. But I think his purpose was, I just want it to be where I say my piece, and I thank everybody except New England, and then I move on. So I think that was his whole plan. And now he's probably in Costa Rica again, or he's moving to Miami, or he's in Montana. He don't give a damn what anybody thinks, nor should he.
Yeah. Well, his house isn't ready yet in Miami, so I wonder where he's gonna live in the meantime. I wonder if he's just gonna stay here in Tampa until his house is ready. There's supply chain issues. It may be a while, Tommy. So
he can afford an Airbnb if he wants. So,
you got to move again, though, man. Jeter already made a move once. Like, hey, dude, I sold the house. You got to move. Imagine that conversation.
Yeah.
Now he's going to move again. He's like me. He's got a double move. Tom Brady? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
But, so
he'll probably stick around for
he'll
probably stick around.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll stay here until his house is done, which will be next. And it'll be interesting, Chris, to see if he actually involves himself in the community, which of course he really hasn't. He's very rarely seen out there. He went to Target once. That was about it in 2 years that he's been here. And I'm not rooting for it. I mean, COVID is not, he was going to get out in public. Everybody's going to come up on you, breathe up on you, right? So, I get it. But it'll be interesting to see if he kind of gets involved in the community after this. So now the big question is, Mr. Torello, what's next? What's next and who's next? And I want to tee up one of my favorite candidates, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston.
Uh-huh.
Give me your pros and cons for Jameis Winston.
The pros are that I think he actually finally went to a quarterback school. No offense to Bruce Arians, but Sean Payton is far and away a better coach. He still is a better coach. And I think he learned so much from Drew Brees. And I remember a couple years ago when the rumor about Tom Brady was starting, I remember there was some talk of, well, what if Jameis took a low deal, stuck around, and learned from Tom Brady? What if he just said, you know what, I want to be here. I want to be part of this. I'm not complete yet. But I understood he wanted to go somewhere where he could play. Yeah. Unfortunately, the market didn't present itself, so he ends up going to the next best thing, which is playing with another Hall of Famer, right, Drew Brees, where he was third string. I mean, at least he would have been second string in Tampa. But I think the pros are that I think he has. If you watch the way he played in New Orleans before he got injured, I mean, he probably would have embarrassed the Bucs if he had stayed on the field that day. And I think he's more controlled. I think he understands. I think the LASIK helped.
Yes,
but I
of
also
course.
think he understands the defenses more. I think he actually understands situations better. He also knows that, I don't have to throw the ball down the field 50 times to make a point if I can get my first down to Evans or Godwin. And I think he learned that. But I just don't know off of injury. I mean, I know other people are agreeing with this sentiment, but I think the cons are he is coming off a major injury. Will he be ready? And I think the other thing is I think him and Bruce Arians don't mix. Yeah. I just think Bruce Arians is soured with him. I think that relationship went south very quickly once the season began. I think Byron Leftwich would be very interesting. If Byron Leftwich were to get, I don't know if the Saints job, who knows at this point what's going on. And, it's crazy to me Byron Leftwich didn't get the Jags job. But if Byron Leftwich ended up in New Orleans, would that be a situation he goes back to even to be there sitting? I think Byron Leftwich wouldn't mind working with him again.
No, I don't think it'd be a problem. And I think his teammates would welcome him back. I think, I don't know though, Mike Evans, as much as he loves Jameis, after getting a little,
he loves Ryan Fitzpatrick more.
after eating at Burns, you might not want to go back to Golden Corral. That's a cheap shot at Jameis. But I mean, the accuracy, everything, it's just gonna, it's just gonna be different. It's gonna be different, and with any quarterback, by the way. So I think you wrapped up Jameis pretty well there. I do think it's an option, and it's but I think it's far down the list. And I do think if he does come back here, that'll be with Arians retiring and Leftwich as the head coach. So yes, I would agree with that. I've been making the case for Russell Wilson. I think I would give up 2 1s and a 3, 2 1s and a 2 if I have to, 2 1s and a player, because he's going to be, it's going to be 27 this year. And if you have Russell Wilson, it's going to be 28, 29 next year. So I much rather solve my quarterback problem for the next 3, 4, 5 years with Russell Wilson and give up those draft picks when I don't know who these players are going to be. I mean, no idea who these players are going to be, and they're going to be low first rounders. What do you think? And his salary is $19 million next year, $22 million the next year. So you can retain Jensen or Kappa, Godwin. You may be plus with Russell coming in, that energizes your fan base. It energizes the free agents. It keeps the guys that might are on the fence. You tell Ryan Jensen, hey, Russell Wilson's coming here. He's signing up. I would think. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the salary doesn't bother me because I think having the front office guys that the Bucs have with Greenberg and these others, I think they would probably, before they worked out any trade, they would say to Russell Wilson, hey, when we bring you here, we're restructuring. Most of your money's going to be a signing bonus, and you're just going to get a base salary of like $3 million plus bonuses. They'll do it in a way that makes sense. Like every year, Mike Evans still gets his big money, but it's all a roster bonus. It's all a signing bonus. Like, I don't understand why teams don't do that more. Like, why don't you just give everyone big contracts and say, okay, but all your money's in a signing bonus? Because then the cap money is way down. So I think if I were Russell Wilson, I'd probably want to come to Tampa. But I think, unfortunately, I don't know what do 2 or 3 number ones from the Tampa Bay Bucs mean when they're going to be good. So you're just what? You're going to go get a pick at the end of the first round for the next 3 years? I mean, yeah, that can work. And maybe you can, if your team isn't as good, you can package that pick and go up and get somebody. But
right.
I don't know if the leverage of a bottom first rounder is the same as, one of these other teams that can say, hey, like if the New York Giants say, hey, we've got 2 first rounders, screw it. We're not in on Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
We'll give you Daniel Jones and plus our 2 ones in next year's 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be tough for the Bucs to do it, but if Russell Wilson says, I'm not going to – if you tell me I have to go play for the Giants, I don't want to play for the Giants.
He's got a no trade. He's got a no trade.
It's got to be like – no, it's got to be like Giancarlo Stanton where he basically forced the Marlins to trade him to the Yankees. It's got to be one of those situations. So I think Russell Wilson would be the best option because he is a winner. I think he would be great for Kyle Trask to finish his development. And I just think for Russell Wilson, he is so good. He's so pure.
Yeah.
And, I think right now I'd rather have him than the Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is too much drama. I think some of these other guys. But, yeah, I think if you're going to trade, I think Russell Wilson's at the top of my list.
Yeah, and he has a no trade clause. So if some of these other teams like the Giants and all these that have low picks, they have low picks or high picks, I should say, for a reason because they suck. And he's not going to want to go there. So the Seattle's going to have to find a happy medium. The Bucs will have to get more picks, but again, I don't have a problem with it. I don't want to chase this quarterback thing again. What do you think about Garoppolo?
No, Jimmy, as my buddy Chris Mad Dog saw, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
I think I'll take. I think Jimmy would be a serviceable guy. I think the biggest problem with Jimmy is that he has that great year where he gets to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. He looks dominant, and kind of falls off.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what Jimmy has left, but I mean, look, the Tampa Sun can certainly help people. I mean, I think it'd be funny if we went one former Patriot QB to another. I certainly think Jimmy would handle Tampa pretty well. I think the one reason why I do think that could work maybe more than Wilson is his cost is going to be a hell of a lot lower. Yep. They're just trying to get him. And I think also, John Lynch loves the Bucs.
Yep.
No matter what, John Lynch will give the Bucs the bone if he can. And I think if that meant, hey, Jimmy G wants to go somewhere where he can probably be inserted and help them win.
Yep.
Plus, Jimmy, to me, is a hell of a lot easier sell to say, hey, Jimmy, we gave you half the year. Thank you. You work. It's kind of like Kurt Warner, Eli Manning, not comparing, Kyle Trask to Eli, but just in that way of, hey, thank you for coming in and giving us a year or whatever, but we're going to go to our future now, middle of the season, and see what we got in Kyle. So I think Jimmy would also present the opportunity to not give up a first-round pick this year or next year, and if, God forbid, the season's a disaster, well, C.J. Stroud is sitting right there for you next year. So, because, we got Rick Stroud, but too many Stroud. You got too many Strouds. It's never a bad thing. So, that's just my way. So,
Chris Torello joining us here. Signing day yesterday, not a whole lot of big news, but what's your thoughts on what USF did this year? Is it in total? I mean, they've added some great transfers. They were number one in the transfer portal, I guess, or were for a time.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on what USF wound up doing here?
Well, adding a kid from Michael Williams from West Bloomfield High in Michigan, and my fiance and her family are all from the state of Michigan.
There you go.
And when I told them this kid was coming, they all were a little shocked because this kid set a record, and he had 23 and a half sacks. That's the most by a kid in the state of Michigan in the last 16 years. He was a couple off of the record from 1977. So he's a linebacker, but they're rating him as a defensive end. I think he's going to come in as a hybrid. And I think this is a kid that just fits the mold of what Bob Shoop, who was the primary recruiter for him. And so I think, they did some important things this offseason. That IPF is going to be up by the summer. They went and got a bunch of guys to believe in their vision. They should be well stacked on the defense. And I also think what's important is they replaced 2 coordinators with 2 better coordinators. So I think that was important too. I'm really impressed with Travis Trickett, probably more because he will go into Miami and he will get Miami recruits like Willie Taggart did, which is a huge thing that USF has been lacking the past couple of years. So really like their potential. They're going to have some guys coming back from injury. I still think it's a quarterback competition going into the spring. I think that Travis Marsh could play a role in this. Don't count out one of the younger guys, but I think Timmy McClain will be pushed to the point if he comes out of spring and the fall with the job, he's going to be a warrior. So I really like what they've done. Really good recruiting class. Is it going to top the – look, Gus Malzahn got a great recruiting class at UCF. I'll throw Nick a bone here too. But, listen, UCF got quality in the transfer portal. They went quality over quantity, and they landed some boys. They landed some big dudes. So I give him a lot of credit, Gus Malzahn, and I like UCF next year a lot. But I think USF could really push, to at least be competitive. They could be the Gasparilla Bowl next year, and that would make everyone happy. So if they can be right there, 5-7, 6-6, that'd be a hell of a season.
I totally agree. And did you you did comment on Twitter on the whole Jim Harbaugh thing, him going and doing an interview the day of National Signing Day? I thought that was a complete dick move on his part. And then it was interesting. Yes, it was. And you don't do that to your recruits. You don't do that to your university. That is a flip of the finger to everybody. And I will say this though, Harbaugh did tell, evidently, he was very honest with his recruits and said if he gets an offer, he wants to chase the Super Bowl. So I'll give him that. I still think it's completely disrespectful. But let me ask you this. Do you think the fact that, because before the whole Brian Flores thing dropped, everybody thought Harbaugh was a shoo-in for that job. Do you think the NFL called the Wilfs and said, hey, you can't just hire Harbaugh. Can't do it. Not with this lawsuit dropping. You got to be earnest in the interviews that you're giving.
I don't think – well, here's the first thing, because I think the report that we were all going off of was from a Michigan fanboy. So I don't think he was as I don't think it was as good as we thought. But, yeah, I mean, look, Patrick Graham was barely out of his interview, and we're getting reports that Jim Harbaugh is just a shoo-in for the job. I think that would have absolutely been a bad look for Brian Flores. But what I think ended up happening was Harbaugh went there. Look, we can spice this, but I think Harbaugh just went in walking confident, thinking, I'm a head coach. I've been a head coach in the league. I played quarterback in the league. I should get this job. So I think his expectation was he's going in with and he's going to impress the hell out of them and get a job offer by that afternoon. And I think things started to sour. And so when he left, he kind of knew, look, I'm not getting this job. And then they called and they said, hey, we're going with the guy from the Rams. And I think that's where Harbaugh was like, by the time he got on the plane, he had already called Ward Daniel and said, look, I'm coming home. It didn't work out, but I want to be it. And I think it may have soured him from the NFL because things have changed since he was the coach at the 49ers. Things change in 5-6 years.
Big time.
So I think I absolutely think that he's going to stay at Michigan. And look, it's fun. Michigan's fun. It's one of the I think Michigan just across the football board is one of the best jobs in America. I don't care if it's college, NFL. I mean, you're basically the king of Michigan. Why would you leave?
Well said, my friend. Well said. Anything else on your mind before you go and run that Spectrum Sports 360 department like it should be run?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I will just add to the Harbaugh real quick. I don't think that it's as big a deal on National Signing Day because early signing day was really where they got everybody. But anyway, we do have a cool story coming up on Saturday night. Tampa Catholic, Don DeZagua, I know you know him well. Yeah. They have not played a home game, and they have not had a home practice since last February because they are building a brand new facility. Kevin Knox has donated $2 million. And so I had to kind of chase them around Sly Middle School and going all over and playing all their games are on the road. So we'll have that story kind of Saturday night. And then also his brother Carter Knox is the third Knox to play at Tampa Catholic. He's a super sophomore. And of course, the father, Kevin Knox, FSU, 1993. So, it was fun. It was fun being around that family for a little while. So hopefully we'll get to see Kevin when they unveil the new facility in May.
Yeah, Kevin Senior, I've known him for a long, long time. That boy, his smile just lights up the room. Always has. Such a positive guy. And you knew that his kids would be superstars. He's a positive guy, but he is a He is a stern disciplinarian. He's a hell of a dad, hell of a husband, hell of a man. And the proof is in the pudding right there. Those kids are tremendous young men. And hats off to that whole family. All right, Chris, appreciate your time as always. Very entertaining. And we'll catch up with you down the line. Thanks, partner.
All righty. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
The great Chris Torello right there. The king of Michigan. Who doesn't want to be the king of Michigan? I mean, you got Detroit to be on the throne there. The governor is just a warm and wonderful woman. So, I mean, who would not want to be king of Michigan? I mean, the UP, the Upper Peninsula? Sure. All right, quick break. When we come back, Leo Haggerty is going to join us from It Sports Magazine. Always fun to chat with him. We'll get his take on what's next for the Buccaneers and the Bolts as they head to the All-Star break. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds in another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. The Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAM. Half of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We thank you so much for joining us. Our numbers are going through the roof, by the way, so thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. We can't do it without you. And thank you for spreading the word, too. That's clearly been done in the last month and a half because our numbers have tripled, and we really appreciate it. We are presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, fighting for your rights and protecting your home in sinkhole, hurricane, roof damage, defective stucco, and construction defects. They'll fight the builders and the insurance companies as well. Give them a call at 813-221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. We'll give you a free consultation. So I think you have a case, you just might, and it's free to find out. So give them a call, 813-221-5636. All right, let's bring in our good friend Leo Haggerty, the editor-in-chief of It Sports Magazine, covering the Bucs, the Bolts, everything Tampa Bay. What's up, partner? How are you?
Hey, another day in paradise and the right side of the grass, JP. Got it. Just everything after that is great.
That's right. We'll get closer to the phone before I kill you. We want to hear every word. There you go, brother. There you go.
I hear you.
Let's start next thing for the Bucs. A lot of names out there. Jameis Winston's names been thrown out there. I'm a big Russell Wilson fan. I think that's where they should go. And I'd give up a lot to get them. Obviously, the Aaron Rodgers thing is out there. Your thoughts on who you would like and where you think this will eventually go?
We know that the Bucs will take a dive in the deep end after getting Tom Brady. I would really like, when the dust settles, and it should settle soon, on Deshaun Watson, if he's cleared, he would be a great fit here. And again, everybody's talking about, well, you're mortgaging the future. This team is ready to win again now.
That's right.
It's not, and again, you got a head coach that's 70. He's not looking to go too much longer. And again, I don't think they're going to be able to sign any of their free agents until they settle who's a quarterback. But JP, the one statement I can make, I don't think the starting quarterback is on the roster right now.
Oh, I would definitely agree with that. I don't think you don't take a roster like this and put it in the hands of a guy like Kyle Trask. And I think he can be good, but he got really no reps this year at all. He's not ready to play in the NFL, not with a roster like this. And frankly, you got other options. There's other options. So yeah, I would agree with you. But we got to look. If you're play GM, bro, what are you doing? If you're in Jason's Light's shoes, you've been an NFL scout. You know what these offenses. You know what they're talking about. You know what the compensation is. What are you doing? Let's go. You got to make a pick. What are you doing?
With the pick in the whatever draft it is or free agent, what it is, I think the best option and the most logical option is Russell Wilson. He still has a little bit tread on the tire. He's not going to be your 10-year guy, but he's a bridge guy. He gets you the 3, 4, 5 years until that next quarterback. Because there's not a quarterback coming out in this draft, that's for sure.
Right.
And Jimmy G, people are talking about. I don't know how that looks right now, but if all things considered, I think Russell Wilson is the best bet.
What would you give up to get him? You're talking to Pete Carroll and that whole brain trust right now. You're on the phone. What are you offering up? What do you think gets the job done?
A 1 this year, a 2 next year, and a 3 the following year.
I don't think that gets the job
done. And
done.
then when he says no, where am I willing to go? A 1 this year and a 1 next year, and that's it. After that, it becomes just too much of a liability. And again, people are saying you're giving up number ones. Look what the Rams did.
Right.
You got a bird in hand rather than a bird in the bush. And again, that's a big thing in the NFL. You've got a proven winner and a guy that has been to the Super Bowl and knows how to get there. That's what Brady brought to this team.
Yep. I'd give them 2 1s and 2 3s because I think it's going to take more to get. They need picks desperately, and they need of them to rebuild. And you have to show your fan base that you got a huge haul for Russell Wilson. And I think with the roster that we currently have, I don't think that's going to crush us in the future. It's not good, but you got to pay to get something. And this guy, I think, is the closest thing to Tom Brady in terms of leadership, clutch ability, and just being able to put your team right. And also inspire your free agents to come back, right? This is a big deal. Like Ryan Jensen, Chris Godwin, some of these guys have decisions to make. And you better bring in somebody that inspires them. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo inspires them to come back. I don't think Jameis Winston's a little different because they all have relationships with him. But I think the only one that really inspires guys to come back would be Russell Wilson. Rodgers would too, but I don't think that's doable at all.
You know what, JP? You hit the nail on the head. They need to show the guys that want to stay there who's going to be. And there's only 3 guys. It's Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson. After that, it's not the same. At least you could say, hey, we're trying to stay close to where we were with Brady. And they're showing these guys a commitment that, hey, it's not win in 2025, it's win in 2022. And that's what these guys want to see because their career isn't going to be down that road much. Ryan Jensen and Dominic and Sue and those guys, they're on the other side of 30, and that's going to be a hard thing for them to look at and say, okay, we got a rookie quarterback and we got a guy that we're going to try to groom. They don't want to hear that. You're exactly right. They need to put a proven product in a quarterback and then start from there.
All right. Well, we're definitely in agreement on that. What do you think about how the whole Brady thing was handled nationally, how Brady handled it? Not mentioning the Patriots at all in his goodbye. I know he did that when he left New England, but what were your thoughts on the way that it was handled?
You know what, JP? This is my thoughts. I have nothing to base it on other than watching what has occurred over the last 30 years in the NFL. I think when Brady came here, he told Jason Light, I'll give you 2 years. And I think the plan was, okay, the first year we'll get used to everybody. We'll get everybody on board. We'll go. Gronk will come in. It'll take him a year to get ready. And then the second year we'll make the run at it. And after losing at home in 7-5, that's the way it looked. Well, they regrouped. They won 8 in a row, won the Super Bowl. I think that Brady looked at Jason Light and BA and said, hey, you bring back the same cast of characters, I'll make another run at it. So I think this was Brady's last year no matter what. I felt sorry for him because the media broke this and had no repercussion.
Yep.
You and I could have came out after that last game and said, Brady's retiring.
Yep.
And have an anonymous source. And you know what? If we're wrong, nobody would have doubted us.
Yeah.
And if we're right now, it's Hosanna, Hosanna. And it's a shame because I think there was a plan to do this a little bit better, but it got to a point
where it was just getting ridiculous. And I think Brady just said, okay, enough. I'm going to announce.
Yeah. I agree. I think you nailed it right there. All right. The Bolts are done basically with the first half now, heading to the All-Star break. They're going to get a lot of time to rest here until, I believe it's the 23rd is their next game. I think they're in good position right now. Kucherov's ready to come back. He's rested and ready. He's been phenomenal when he's played. The rest of these guys have picked up the slack. This team looks really, really comparable to last year's team, the back-to-back Cup champions. I think they have everything they need. The only difference being Florida is really good, and they've gotten better. So what are your thoughts on how the season plays out?
JP, I think you're exactly right. The Bolts are right where they want to be. They're getting people rest, whether it's for COVID, whether it's injury, and they are so deep they can pick it up. And as long as 88's in net, this team is dangerous. But the big change is Florida and Carolina are real. Carolina's good, and their style of play is different, and they're hard to develop. Florida is really good. The only good thing is how long is Bobrovsky going to be in that net? You know, we see that he has some clunkers and that, but I just think this is going to be another Florida, Tampa for the Eastern Conference Final, and then who comes out of the West is anybody's guess right now.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll see the Avs in a little bit. We just saw the Golden Knights. That was a hell of a game the other night, although I think Vegas dominated the first two periods. But then, the Bolts pushed back and should have won the game in overtime. But I tell you what, I'll take 7 of those against Vegas. I'll take 7 against the Panthers. Last year, that series was unbelievable. But I just hope the Bolts can get through the second half of the season relatively healthy. Do you think they might add anybody at the maybe a defensive? I think there might be a spot for an experienced defenseman for the playoffs, maybe someone with a little bit of jam. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Especially, JP, when they played that game in Anaheim with the 4 defensemen, I've never seen that before. And it's amazing they got through it. But the one thing about Julien Brisebois and the Lightning organization, they are not afraid to make a move that they think will improve their team. And that's one thing about this organization that you really got to like. They are always looking to get better. And when you got an owner who says, go do what needs to be done to win a Stanley Cup, that's a huge thing too.
I agree. Leo Haggerty joining us here. Can you imagine them winning 3 in a row? And I think it's very possible. I think it's very, very possible if they stay healthy that they can do that. Hey, any thoughts on National Signing Day for our local schools, our in-state Florida schools, and then just signing day in general? We're going to play the Jimbo Fisher soundbite here at the top of the hour in our next segment, which was, I think, freaking hilarious. But, recruiting has changed dramatically and forever with NIL and everything that's going on. So what are your thoughts on this cycle?
Well, what the NIL has become is the highest bidder.
That's right.
And what's really going to change the landscape, JP, is, and you and I know playing the game that, if the coach comes out and, verbally berates you for something you did, you may find that guy in the portal the next day.
That's right.
And if he has a great freshman year, he'll go in the portal and say, let's go to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
And again, this is all the fault of the NCAA. They completely ignored this. They didn't see the possible ramifications of what was coming down the pike with this. And you're right. It's completely different with recruiting now. And you're going to see teams in Florida and Texas, because there's no state income tax. All of a sudden, you may see some really interesting recruiting because now money is going to come into play.
Yeah, big time. And the NCAA is kind of an innocuous organization at this point. To me, it's the power brokers in college football. The coaches, the administrators, the conference presidents, commissioners. These are the guys, the greedy as I like, the greedy guys who would not give up their power and money. That's just how it works in the world until they were forced to do so, and now they're dealing with it and complaining about it. Shut the hell up. You could have controlled this if you wanted to, but you were too greedy to do so.
And you know what, JP, when the Supreme Court, who is predominantly conservative, came out and said, your business model wouldn't work anywhere else but here, that's got to tell you something. You know, you're taking advantage of the kids, and now the kids are taking advantage of the system.
Right.
And the coaches coming out and say, oh, we can't do this. Well, guess what? You've been doing it for years.
Exactly.
And now the shoe's on the other foot.
They're freaking hypocrites. It's unbelievable. They say this stuff with a straight face. All right, my friend, tell everybody how they can get your content at It's Sports Magazine.
Go to itsportsmag.com. Just put up an article on, Brady and his retirement. Rob Creek just put up his column on something we haven't even touched on is, the Hall of Fame with the Big Papi going in.
That's right.
And, more like what the other people not going in still. So that's an interesting scenario. And go there, and I'm going to post my Bolts recap because there's not going to be anything until the 10th.
I know, right?
So there's no sense waiting until then, right?
Hey, speaking of Hall of Fame, when do we find out about Rondé? This week? Or next?
Yeah.
This week?
Yeah, it'll go in, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to text Ira and see what the plan is and what they're doing, and when I find out, I'll get back to you. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Yeah, I heard he did a great job presenting. Sal Powell says Ira's the best in the business at presenting, because Sal Powell's in the room as well, the best in the business at presenting Hall of Fame guys. So I think given this class, I think this is the time for Rondé. Can't wait. Gonna be awesome.
All right, brother. Hey,
a good one, Leo. Appreciate it. A great Leo Haggerty right there.
Talk
All right,
to you next week, my friend.
You got it. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to play that Jimbo Fisher audio. It is hilarious. We'll also hear from Jason Light in our second hour. Lots of good stuff. We're going to get into a little bit more of the Brian Flores situation. Wait till you hear what the Blackhawks owner said last night. What an ass clown he is. We'll talk about it next. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year. Last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities, including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-964-0400. That's 941-964-0400.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. And our second hour is presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They are a different kind of medical provider, and they specialize in primary care, personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem. They're going to encourage a healthy lifestyle, proper diet, supplements, exercise. Boy, that would have been a great idea for COVID, wouldn't it? Rather than the impersonal rushed approach, you're going to get the feeling that you are the only patient in the area. So give them a call at 844-977-3477, located in South Tampa, or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477, or go to BAMMC.com. And please tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. And there you go. All right. Lots to get to here in our second hour. I wanted to get to, first of all, recruiting and name, image, and likeness. We were just talking about it with Leo. And Texas A&M ended up with one of the top classes. I kind of throw the top five all together. It's so hard to differentiate one from the other.
Well, this one has the distinction of being the top-rated class ever.
Yeah.
Ever, apparently. So 7 5-stars.
It's good. It's good.
Kind of crazy.
But I think it does really point to the name, image, and likeness thing. And the reason that Jimbo Fisher went to Texas A&M from Florida State is because he knew that the boosters there would give him anything and everything he asked for, unlike what happened at Florida State. You could say that was a mistake or not, but if it comes down to winning football games, which is what his job is, he's got the backing of big oil money, and these boosters have thrown all in on name, image, and likeness, and which is not to say that Texas A&M has never been a desirable place to play. It has, but it's never been Alabama. It's never been even LSU. It's never been, frankly, Florida State. It's never been Florida. That's not Texas A&M. How many national championships have they won?
0.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit of what Jimbo says in this rant, I got to take with a grain of salt. It's a great university, but it's not elite. And to sit there and say that name, image, and likeness money did not play a role the first year it's actually in play, and it's the first year that you finish with the number one class, Jimbo, the numbers suggest that what you're saying is not exactly true, but we kind of love it. Just for entertainment's sake. So let's listen in on old Jimbo, old hair plugs. Is this Christmas tree still out front? I don't know. Had to say yesterday.
Do you kind of consider it a slap in the face or whatever when there's these thoughts out there that it's because a lot of money is being spent, and just your thoughts?
Here's what I'm going to say, and this is point blank. This is point blank because here's my problem. There is no $30 million fund. There is no $5 million. There is no 10. This is garbage, okay? And it pisses me off that people, and here it comes from a site called Bro Bible by a guy named Sliced Bread. Then everybody runs with it. It's written on the internet, it's gospel. How irresponsible is that? I'm going to tell you, there's some very reputable writers in college football and sports that wrote it and that said it and have done things. It's unbelievable to me. When I first heard it, I laughed. I said, oh, yeah, what a clown. I mean, I didn't even think anything of it because I don't have social media. And it kept building. And lately, I've heard more about it. To me, it's insulting to the players that we recruited that's why they would come here. You ever been to a game here? You ever come to school here and see the education? Talk about the 12th man, the Aggie Network when you're done. We're at a better university in this country. And it's insulting to what you say. And all these, and we got writers who have said it and done it. Off Sliced Bread. A guy named Slice who made it up. Love to see who Sliced Bread is and put it out there with Sliced Bread. Let me find out where it comes from.
So there's no NIL money.
And then to have coaches in our league and across this league is it clown acts. All right? Irresponsible as hell. Multiple coaches in our league. And the guys griping about NIL, griping about transfer portal, using it the most and bragging about it the most. That's the ironic part. You want character? I'll take it with any of y'all. It's a joke. It does piss me off.
Ooh.
The other thing, when you look at vice president, I get another one. Vice president of Notre Dame. Supposed to be a reputable university, right? That's a heck of a person leading a reputable university.
No, A&M's better.
I'd be real proud if I hired that guy. Read it off Sliced Bread. But they say it because it's written on the internet. We worry about the kids and social media and internet. How about grown-ups? How about the guys that are supposed to be setting an example? How about writers who are supposed to be writing the right thing? How about coaches who are supposed to be doing the right thing? And I'll tell you what, I know how some of those guys recruit too. Go dig into that. I know the history, I know the tradition, I know things. Oh, yeah. Trust me, you don't want to go down that avenue.
As the driven snow, Jimbo.
It's ridiculous, and it's irresponsible, and it's unbelievable. I ain't just talking about one. Multiple people got NIL issues. It's funny when Nick Saban said his quarterback got an $800,000 deal. It was wonderful. Now it ain't wonderful no more, huh? But ours, we ain't got that. Ours are on record what comes up. We ain't doing all them big deals. Ain't none on our place that we know of. That's funny when you do it.
We know of.
It's and then we gripe about the transfer portal, and you guys take more than everybody. What's about that? And what goes on? The hypocrisy is a joke. It's an absolute joke, and it's insulting to our staff, how hard we work, to how we do things, and it's insulting to Texas A&M because there ain't a better place to go to school and play ball. If you don't like it, we're coming on. Get used to it. All right? We ain't going nowhere. It's an absolute joke. The people put the hard work in and do it. It's irresponsible, but it's funny when they get it, it's all okay. Ball games are changing, man. And it ain't because of NIL.
Hold on there, Jimbo. Whoa, Nelly. What the hell was that? I hadn't heard the whole thing. So he's acting like there's no NIL money at Texas A&M?
There's none, apparently.
I ain't getting no big deals. So none of his players are getting big deals.
The greatest,
as far as we know,
the greatest university in America, JP.
Yeah. Better than that old Notre Dame.
Way better.
Better go research what they're doing in recruiting.
Better. They're coming. They're coming.
We ain't going nowhere.
They're coming for 8-4 again.
Yeah,
that's where they're going.
Please. Wow, that was. You think any of that's going to be used next year when Alabama and A&M play? Ole Miss and A&M play?
It's never a bold strategy to call out Nick Saban.
Not a good one.
It's not a good one.
No. Poking the bear has never really worked out for most people.
Jimbo Fisher, he might be riding his high horse. He beat Alabama this year. He beat him. He beat him on the field. He beat him in the recruiting trail.
We're coming.
Yeah, but until he's in the playoff, I don't want to hear a word from Jimbo Fisher. I don't.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I have not done the research on the $30 million. But after that tirade, I'm surprised it's not up on the on one of the major websites already. But it is a historic haul, according to CBS Sports. The Aggies landed the nation's number one defensive lineman, Walter Nolan, number one tight end, Jake Johnson, Brad's son, number two wide receiver, Evan Stewart, number two quarterback, Connor Weigman, number three interior lineman, Cam Dewberry, number four cornerback, Denver Harris. 7 5-star prospects committed to the program, all of whom ranked among the top 25 players in the country. It was their first number one recruiting class for both A&M and Fisher. Lane Kiffin joked on Tuesday that A&M should have incurred a luxury tax based on how much he alleges they paid their historic signing class. Of course, you heard his retort to that. Have you seen anything as far as what the numbers are, as far as what he says is online or it's all documented? Have you seen it?
I have not myself. No, I didn't even really think this was that big of a discussion until he brought it up yesterday. I didn't see anybody really talking about him. He says it came from sliced bread. Take that with what you will.
Hey, well, it's not like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but evidently he's not that great, according to Jimbo Fisher. Look, everybody, I guess I
can't bang. I mean, we're joking here, having fun with it, but I can't bang these coaches for whatever they're doing. It's out. Listen, the NCAA is a joke. And if you're going to institute this NIL and it's the wild, wild west, use it as you may.
Of course.
Who gives a crap?
If I were him in it, I would embrace it. Yeah, we're paying lots of money.
Until somebody,
come to A&M.
Yeah, until somebody
it's a great university and
there,
we pay money.
Yeah,
right.
Until somebody puts legislation in there and says that you can't do it this way, then we can have that discussion. But right now, they're within the rules, from at least what I'm understanding.
But his whole, to present this as that they have no NIL deals and they're coming here because we're the greatest university and it's the greatest place to play is bullcrap. Sorry, Jimbo, not true, not true at all. Hey, go. All right, listen, you got no excuses now. Go win a national championship.
That's my point. There's zero excuses now, by the way.
Like you got no excuses. You got an experienced quarterback in Brad's son.
Yeah, I don't. You can't go 9-4 again or 8-4.
That's right.
You can't do it.
It's good to beat Alabama, but stop losing to the other guys.
Yeah,
you got to be consistent to win it all, which you've never been.
Ironically, though, you know who the biggest loser still was yesterday in recruiting?
Who's that?
Brian Kelly. Did you see that story?
I saw the video. Then the guy ended up going to Alabama.
He goes to Alabama. 6 days later, he goes to Alabama. And a Louisiana kid, by the way, and they usually have a nice barrier on those kids.
They do.
And he said, see ya, I'm going to the state over.
Do you think the fact that he did that video and the guy got just roasted so bad, he got roasted, but I think the player probably was like, I don't want any part of this dude.
Lane Kiffin roasted the hell out of him. I mean, I wrote about it yesterday for Outkick, and I'm like, would Nick Saban be caught dead doing that with a recruit?
No.
Seriously, would Kirby Smart?
I've seen him do the Cupid Shuffle.
Yeah, but
not necessarily with a recruit.
No, you know what Nick Saban's doing? He's coming in on a helicopter,
That's
parking
right.
it right on your 50-yard line.
That's right.
And bringing out every single finger and saying, take a look at these.
Getting out like a boss.
That's it.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Joe, he's just trying so hard.
And Jimbo shows up with his one ring.
Yeah.
That J-Boo got him.
Literally.
What was his record outside of Jameis? Barely 500 at FSU.
Yeah, he probably was, by my calculations, a 9-4, 9-4 kind of guy. Chick-fil-A bowl.
Lots of Chick-fil-A balls.
Chick-fil-A balls.
Yeah. Get the free nuggets. Absolutely. So that's National Signing Day yesterday. As far as the top classes, FSU made an early splash, obviously, and then Travis Hunter goes to Jackson State. That hurt their ranking tremendously, but they still got one of the top quarterbacks in A.J. Duffy. They got a 5-star safety. They got a lot of big interior linemen. They brought in a lot of transfer receivers that I think could make an immediate difference, but a lot of the experts are saying not so fast, my friend. It wasn't that great a class. They finished, 20th with all in?
They finished 20th, and frankly, that's a disappointment. It is a disappointment. And
a class at one time was ranked in the top 10.
Most
did
of
not
it
finish.
Go back to the FSU still in the top 5, I believe.
Yeah.
And then they just catapult like that. And Florida, Miami, we were talking about them in December being like in the 70s.
Yeah.
They finished ahead of Florida State.
Yeah, that's not good.
With about a month and a half of recruiting, and they finished in front of you. And FSU was pretty much dead quiet the last 2 months after.
It's still coming off a 5-7 season, though. It's a top 20 class with what they've been dealing with. I have to say is not bad. As an FSU guy, I'm going to say it's not bad. It could have been better. One guy, Travis Hunter, the number one recruit. If they somehow keep him, which they, look, everybody wants to say, oh, how do you not keep a kid like that? And he goes to Jackson State. Look, when prime time comes calling, and if you don't think he got a big chunk of money, which is nothing wrong with that for the kid, it's smart. But I don't think it was the best decision for the kid at all. He's gonna play against inferior competition. He's gonna practice against inferior competition. He's not gonna become the best player that he could be by the time he gets to the pros. I just don't think he will. Despite even Dion working with him, you're just not playing against the best of the best. You don't get that level of competition. I mean, when you go to the NFL, I'm not saying he's not gonna make it. The small school kids make it all the time. But is he going to be as good as he possibly could? Is he going to be, for the NIL money? Is there going to be a return on investment? Jackson State's not going to be on CBS at 3:30 or ABC at 7:30 at night. They're just not.
But at least the saving grace for FSU was the transfer portal. And they slam dunked it there.
They really did.
Transfer portal. And that's what they need at the end of the day. They need guys who can help you win now.
Right.
Don't know how many of these prospects are going to, but they did their job in the transfer portal. We already know USF did their job in the transfer portal. Torello gave me a nice shout out. My UCF Knights did the job they did. And then at the end of the day, you had 3 Florida schools somehow finish in the top 20.
That's good. It's better than where it's been.
Where it's been.
Yeah.
Just Miami, though, finishing number 1. How about that? I mean, Mario Cristobal, didn't even have coordinators.
Finished number 1 in the state.
And finished number 1 in the state.
Yeah.
So
he's a great recruiter.
He's going to be, you have to acknowledge that now. If you're a Florida or a Florida State fan, that's probably the worst thing that could have happened was Cristobal coming here.
But the bottom line is, these, you look at these top 5 classes and they make a difference. There's no question. In the past 10 years, you look at the national champions, they've had top 5. They've had at least 2 top 5 classes, at least. And most of them had, two number one classes to win a national championship. That's what it looks like. The rankings are important. But that is before transfer portal. Mm-hmm. So right now, it's not necessarily just getting guys, it's retaining guys. And Alabama's having a hard time retaining guys. Georgia's having a hard time because they're doing so well in recruiting. They're over-recruiting.
Like, you think all these guys at A&M are going to stay? But that's where parity's
going to get better.
Yeah, it's going to. I think it's going to. I mean, I just never thought. I look at the recruiting rankings. I mean, Texas is 5. Texas has been in the top 5 for like the past 5-6 years and can't get a winning season.
They can't do anything.
I mean, North Carolina, this is like their 4th straight year in the top 10.
Yeah. Mac Brown's a great recruiter.
He's a great recruiter.
He really is.
I didn't think we'd come to the day where they're number 1 in the ACC, by the way, in recruiting. But here we are. Things are different.
Yeah, things are just different. No question about it. All right, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we want to I got to play this audio from this ass clown owner of the Chicago Blackhawks and also Brian Flores. We're going to relate it to these things. We're not all in like ESPN, but I think there's some interesting things that need to be talked about that have been revealed in the last 48 hours, and we'll hit them when we come back. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. And also our second hour is brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care, personalized preventative medicine. And if you're having issues in the bedroom, folks, they have some great remedies, cutting-edge stuff that will help you out. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's a key component in a healthy, balanced lifestyle. They offer discreet treatments with real-world results. Mm-hmm. If you are suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or a lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff have the cutting-edge knowledge and treatments that will make you an all-star in the bedroom. How about that? Take care of your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. We joke about it, but it is no joke. If you want some discreet treatment for it, give them a call over there. All right. I almost transitioned into this segment with something would have been untasteful for our advertisers, but that would laugh like hell. Speaking of dicks, let's talk about some of these owners. It is sorry about that, folks. I couldn't resist. I get, and I listening to what Brian Flores has said the past couple of weeks, or past couple of days, 48 hours, and some of the other coaches that are coming out and some of the stories that I've heard. Folks, this is not an NFL problem. This is not a league-wide problem. This is not a Roger Goodell problem. It's not a head coach's problem. Guys like Bruce Arians, Roger Goodell, the people, Troy Vincent, the people within the organization are doing great things for diversity in this league. The league is 75% black players. They're making tons of money. A lot of the coaches are coming up through the ranks and they're getting coordinator positions. The last step of this process is getting more some of these black players into head coaching positions, into management positions, general managers, and ultimately into ownership positions. And that's going to fix this. And luckily, Mother Nature, Father Time is going to fix this, because most of the problem lies with a bunch of old, rich white guys who have never been held accountable for anything. They do whatever the hell they want. In private, they say whatever the hell they want, and they hire whoever the hell they want, despite what anybody's going to tell them to do or what's best for their organizations. And some of these hires are just laughable. I mean, Urban Meyer, are you freaking serious? Urban Meyer over any coordinator in this league, black, white, purple, green. Are you freaking kidding me? What a disaster. And everybody knew it was a disaster. Joe Judge. I mean, we could go on and on with people that were just not even close to ready. And that's not weren't necessarily hired because they were white, but there were other candidates that were passed over. And again, I'm the last one to use I think the race card is horribly overused. So many levels and in sports as well. And we've abused it. The media has abused it. So when real racism happens, a lot of people just roll their eyes. But I want you to listen to this owner, Rocky Wirtz, who's another 70-something old white guy for the Blackhawks, responding to, I believe, a fan, right? This was a fan forum?
No, this was a town hall. But
There
was reporters there. Though.
Okay, reporters and fans were asking questions as well.
This was reporters, though, that he was going back and forth with.
One reporter but there were a lot of fans there, a town hall environment. So a little background on this. This is the Kyle Beach situation that back from 2010 that took 10 years to resolve. This is a guy that was sexually assaulted by a member of the Blackhawks organization. The fallout from that, I think many of you knew. Some guys were like, well, it's a long time ago. We really didn't know what was going on, blah, 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 whatever. It happened, and it should have happened. And the way the Blackhawks handled it was horrible back then and now. And listen, even with all that that has come out, this is the owner being questioned. And listen, not only to the words he says, but the absolute condescension in which he says them. And this is just a little bit of picture into what most of these white guys are about.
Also, and I think much of what happened to Kyle Beach stemmed from a power imbalance between a coach and a player and the powerlessness of a player in that situation. So what are the Blackhawks doing? What have the Blackhawks done? What will the Blackhawks do to empower a player in a similar situation to make sure that doesn't happen again?
I'm going to answer the question at the end. I think the report speaks for itself. The people that were involved are no longer here. We're not looking back at 2010. We're looking forward. And we're not going to talk about 2010. I know, and I'm not either. And we're not going to talk about what happened. We're moving forward. That is my answer. Now, what's your next question?
I can pick up to what we are doing today. I think
no, I don't know. That's none of your business.
That was his GM.
That's none of your business. What we're going to do today is our business. I don't think it's any of your business. Because I don't think it's any of your business. You don't work for the company. If someone in the company asks that question, we'll answer it. And I think you should get on to the next subject. We're not going to talk about Kyle Beach. We're not going to talk about anything that happened. Now we're moving on. What more do I have to say? You want to keep asking the same question? You hear the same answer? Okay, ask the next question.
Complete dismissal. Even when his general manager wants to jump in there and say what's going on now with the proactive things they're doing, he shuts him up. He shuts him up. And I'm not going to convict all older white owners. I know Arthur Blank. I work for Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank is a man of incredible integrity and inclusiveness. So I'm not going to broad brush all the owners. It's not fair. And certainly the ones I know, the Glazers, Arthur Blank, are tremendous men. Arthur Blank may have some he's too nice a guy is one of his biggest problems. He's too nice a guy. He's a great man. But guys like this, and I'll throw Stephen Ross in this category as well, because his denials yesterday, you can read them. You just did a story on Outkick. You want to read those? And this goes back to Brian Flores claiming that he was offered $100,000 per loss.
Yeah, he said, I take great personal exception to those malicious attacks, and the truth must be known. His allegations are false, malicious, and defamatory. We understand there are media reports stating that the NFL intends to investigate his claims, and we will cooperate fully. I welcome that investigation. I'm eager to defend my personal integrity and the values of the entire Miami Dolphins organization from these baseless, unfair, and disparaging claims.
You know what? I don't give a shiz about what Stephen Ross says. And I do welcome an investigation. And I hope there's a smoking gun, but I doubt there will be. So this comes down to, do I believe Brian Flores or do I believe Stephen Ross? Now, listen, I've never met Brian Flores, but I've read and heard from his teammates and players that have played under him, black and whites, very reputable people in this business. Rob Ninkovich, Bill Belichick, you can go down the line. And every one of them, in describing Brian Flores, talk about his character, his integrity, and how much it means to him. And I watched him do interviews yesterday. And the man that they're talking about, that's him. I've also seen Stephen Ross work. And I see how he works. And if anybody wants to pick a side here, I think you know where the right side is. Because you can look at what Stephen Ross did as an owner and did to Brian Flores. Have you ever seen an ownership group or a front office deplete their team like he did? Give away every good player you could possibly give away. Minka Fitzpatrick, Laramie Tunsil, all these guys. I understand rebuilding. I get it. I understand it. But you don't rebuild like that. You keep your good players as many as you can. Not as many as you can. There are some that you need to give up to get draft picks. I get that. But to me, the Dolphins went way overboard. Way overboard. And I think watching from afar, there's no question Brian Flores performed what Stephen Ross wanted him to do. And I can absolutely read the tea leaves and see Stephen Ross coming up and said, hey, you're doing a little bit too good a job here. We need to lose games to get draft position. That's not the way you do things. That's not integrity. That's not character. When it comes to what they're talking about, what he's asking him to do is here, take this money, take this little bit of money and screw your whole career. Right? Screw your whole career. Take this little bit of money. It's very interesting and analogous to the way the welfare system is run. And many of the things we're, quote, doing to help not only Black Americans, but the lower income Americans. They're not giving them a hand up. They're giving them a handout and want them completely dependent on government. And you know what that gets you? A meager existence. And you never aspire to anything else. And if the last group of people that want that are these black coaches. They don't want a handout. They don't want a freaking Rooney Rule interview. They want to be treated like everybody else. And again, it's not the NFL doing this. It's these owners, these older owners, and most of them grew up pre-civil rights America. And I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I'm saying you are just heard it from that guy right there, Rocky Wirtz, whatever the hell his name is from the Blackhawks. You just heard that disdain. Like you have no standing here. I'm the rich guy. I run this organization. You shut the hell up about anything about sexual abuse, of racism. Shut the hell up. I run this place. I'll do whatever the hell I want to do. And hopefully these owners age out sooner than later. Because guess what? The NFL's not going to do anything. They didn't do anything to Daniel Snyder. They're not going to do anything to Stephen Ross. They're going to do some whitewash investigation. Because you know who's running that part of it? The owners. It's the hen guarding the hen house. Or the fox guarding the hen house. Sorry. That's what's going on here.
Who owns the commissioner in the NFL?
The owners.
Yeah.
Dan Snyder and that entire ridiculous organization, sending cheerleaders on trips to service their season ticket holders. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. My God. And nothing to see here. We fined him $10 million and he's not allowed to run the day-to-day operations. His wife's doing that. Okay.
You can go on every avenue you want with the NFL. You can go down the domestic abuse route. You can go down the sexual assault route. They don't take anything serious.
No,
they don't. They don't. I mean, they give slap on the wrist punishments. I mean, go back to 8 years ago with Ray Rice?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, the other part of that is, that they commissioned a group of women to be on an executive board to watch and tell the NFL how to handle certain situations as they come up, right? And most of them quit because they realized they weren't being listened to. That was a complete
don't blame them.
PR move. So, yeah, The NFL has issues, major issues, and in terms of this minority hiring, and these sham interviews, and I believe Brian Flores, and I believe Hugh Jackson when he comes out and says, Jimmy Haslam wanted me to lose games and paid me to do it.
It's all believable.
It's completely believable.
Everything points to it. And I tell you what, back to Rocky Wirtz, I mean, just listening to that. And last night I was watching NHLs on TNT, and they were talking about it. And I think Wayne Gretzky summed it up the best yesterday. And he said, if I'm a parent of an 18-year-old prospect and he gets drafted to that team, what did he just say yesterday inspires any confidence in me wanting my kid to go there?
Yeah.
It's that serious at this point.
It is.
And for him to say, too, we're not talking about Kyle Beach. Well, thank you for slapping more into the face of Kyle Beach with that statement.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he said it, we're not talking about Kyle Beach.
Well,
and just
peel back the onion.
Yeah, and to shut down the 3 people that were next to him, by the way, who probably just wanted to get out.
Yeah.
And I don't know why would they even want to be associated with that brand right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's sad. It really is sad. And I mean,
if I were that general manager, I'd resign today.
Yeah, and
I'd resign today because clearly you have no power there.
No, you have nothing. I mean, your owner just said you shut the hell up too.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. It's
and you could put out, and he put out his apology later, only after the reporter that he yelled at wrote the column. These are weak apologies; they mean nothing.
Meaningless. You showed your ass. You showed who you are at your core. I have no time for your apology. And again, I'm not big on boycotting and cancel culture and all this. You know what? He wants to own the Blackhawks. Fine, because we know who you are.
Yeah,
we know who you are. Would I buy a ticket? No.
And I have to tell you what,
I wouldn't support that guy with one freaking penny. I'm not supporting public boycotts. I think everybody can make their individual decisions. Yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't. And that's that's power.
Yeah. And I'll bring this into here too. I think, granted, sometimes they might go a little over the top for people's liking, probably yours as well. But I can't deny when these things come up in the NBA, they address them head on.
They do, and
they have a great track record of getting these guys out of the game.
Yeah,
you think if Donald Sterling, all that happened in the NFL, are we 100% confident if all that stuff happened with him a few years back or whatever, how long ago it was, that he would not still be an owner in the NFL? Can we 100% say?
Look at some of the stuff Bob McNair said.
There you go.
And take him out.
There you go.
I mean, it's sad, but maybe they just need to. Here's how I would solve it. I'll solve it right now. The owners, you're not in the discussion about who's going to coach your team. You hire the general manager, and I know he can whisper in the general manager's ear, we ain't hiring that guy. I get it. But if you're a general manager and that happens, you have full license to call the NFL and tell them what happened, and that owner gets sanctioned or removed. At that point, you get removed. Remove the owners from the decision-making process. Look, they own the team. I get it. There's other things that they can be involved in, but at this point, you've lost the credibility to do it. And I know that sounds crazy because it's obviously a big decision, but at this, again, you've lost the credibility. Take them out of the option. They have nothing to say. The general manager handles the interviews and makes the decision. You hire the general manager, that's as much as you get. Maybe you need to take them out of that as well. But I'm telling you, we're gonna age out of this for the most part, and hopefully, we're not bringing in other 90-year-old or 80-year-old owners to replace these 80-year-old owners. And it just, to me, that's the biggest part of the problem.
Yeah, and we could preface this too. I don't think it needs to be said, but I'll say it. We're not saying that you have to give just every black coach a job.
No,
just because.
No,
but you just have enough evidence there that white guys who have credentials that frankly just don't hold up to some of these other black candidates who don't get opportunities. Something needs to change there.
Yeah. And by the way, what more do you need to know than Stephen Ross fired that guy?
Yeah,
he fired a guy that beat Bill Belichick twice this year, right? He was 4-2 against Belichick.
He just went 8 of his last 9 after starting
with Tua
and Jacoby Brissett. I don't know how much else I can say there.
That just does not warrant a firing.
No,
it does not warrant a firing. It doesn't. It warrants a contract extension. And Stephen Ross fired that guy.
And I don't understand.
What does that say about Stephen Ross?
And I don't know.
He's a racist. That's what it says.
And I don't know if you're a head coach in Canada. How do you go there? How do you go there right now to Miami? What backbone do you have?
If you're a player, why do you play for this guy?
I can win back-to-back years with that roster, and I'm still not safe.
It's repugnant. It really is. And again, I know we don't want to beat the dead horse here. And I know ESPN's doing wall-to-wall coverage on this and they go completely overboard on all of it. But in this instance, these are discussions that need to be had. This is hard evidence.
These are real issues, okay?
Real issues.
You want to see real racism, we're talking about
This is it.
And we're always going to talk about it when it's real.
Absolutely. If you can't see it, you're not looking.
You need to open your eyes and you need to stop thinking like the owners.
Yeah.
Stop taking their sides.
This one is an issue. There's no question about it. All right. If you want to sound off at FanStream JP, at the JP Peterson Show on Twitter, you can read us there and comment, and we'll read them on the air as well. All right, quick break. When we come back, get you up to date on what's going on with the Lightning. What other? We're gonna hear. We didn't play the Brian Flores audio. We're gonna. We got Jason Light. We're gonna play some Jason Light when we come back. Stay with us. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. Just a few more minutes left here. Our second hour brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, where they say getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you need some testosterone replacement, go find out what your levels are. That was a game changer for me. My levels were like a second grade girl. It was not good. And since getting my levels right, everything changes, folks. You get a better workout. You can build muscle again. Your brain fog goes away. You sleep better. I mean, testosterone replacement is a game changer. And if you don't think you have low testosterone, you probably think again, because there are food, the environment, stress, all just absolutely destroys your T levels unnaturally, by the way. We're not, if you're 30, 40 years old, your levels are low and it's not natural. So you need to get them back up. And the folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Christopher Lugo and his team will do it the right way. So get in touch with them at BAMMC.com or 844-977-3477. All right. Justin Light yesterday, or was it yesterday? A couple days ago. Did a press conference basically because Tom Brady retired, but it turned into kind of what's in this press conference. So I want to hit on a couple of these. And not that he said anything that was groundbreaking, but I think it gives you kind of a feel for where the organization is at this particular point. We'll hit a couple of them here. Jason Light, Bucs general manager, got Tom Brady to come to Tampa Bay. What are we doing here? Just fast forward. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for joining us for today's media availability with Buccaneers general manager Jason Light. I'd like to go ahead and throw it over to Jason for his initial comments, and then we'll start taking some questions.
I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight, and I apologize for not getting back to everybody today. It's been obviously a big day for us and for Tom, and thought it would be easier just to address you guys in this forum. Anything I say today about Tom is an understatement in terms of what he's done for not only the Buccaneers, but for the NFL, for the Patriots, his entire career. And obviously a very big decision on his part, but we're just extremely happy that he chose us and have a lot of gratitude towards him for what he's done for this organization and for this fan base. So with that, I'll open it up.
Hello to Rick Stroud.
Jason, I'm just wondering, I know when you signed him, you hoped he would obviously win, but also leave something behind. What do you think will be, the lasting legacy of his, or the impact he'll have on your organization or your team?
There's so many to mention. I wouldn't know where to begin. He's, at least in my opinion, and I know the opinion of many, all the greatest player in the history of the league. And just his dedication to winning, his dedication to preparation, and his dedication to being a leader and caring for people and everybody that surrounds him is unmatched. Like I said, anything's an understatement. I could go on and on. Yeah. I think over the course of the last couple of years, we've come from behind in many games and had a penchant for doing that and winning. We've won a lot of games in the last couple of years, and just the belief in the team, the belief in the system, the belief in each other, and belief in your teammates. And it was been a true team effort in a lot of these in a lot of our success that we've had. So I think that's the first thing that comes to mind, is instilling that into his teammates.
Thanks.
Jenna Lane.
Hey, Jason, thanks so much for doing this. I know you've got quite a lot going on right now. How much of a challenge is it for you guys now entering free agency when you got to add possibly a quarterback onto the wish list? You've already got a number of guys that you're trying to re-sign.
Well, it's something that we knew was going to happen at some point. And, you know, it didn't completely shock us in the last 24 hours, to be honest with that this could happen. We've been preparing. We were in this situation a couple of years ago where Bruce and I both said, you know, we'll have to look behind door number 2, and we're at that position again. Now we feel like we're very excited about the development of Kyle, where he's come from in the last year and what he's done. Just being able to sit behind Tom and Blaine and Ryan as well in that room with Clyde and Tom Moore and BA. So we're going to explore all avenues to try to make the best decision that we can for the organization. But it didn't come as a surprise. We totally respect Tom's decision, and it's an unbelievable feat on his part, not just his career. We've only had him for less than 10% of his career, but what he's done for us is monumental and will transcend many generations here in Tampa. But we'll have to make the decision that's best for us moving forward, and we're prepared for doing that.
All right, it's Jason Light. You know, I think the most important thing that he said in this press conference was, you know, we have 7 of our 9 Pro Bowlers under contract, and I think he believes that this roster, he definitely believes this roster is ready to win now. This is not a rebuild situation. They're not going to let all these guys go with Kyle Trask, hold on to all their draft picks and start to rebuild. I do not sense that whatsoever. I sense there's a feeling of, and as Sal Palantonio said this yesterday, you know, the Glazers go big. That's what they've been known to do. And they've gone big twice with the acquisition of John Gruden. Everybody said they paid too much, 2 1s, 2 2s, $8 million. And they may have, but do you trade 10 years of mediocrity for 1 Super Bowl? Yes, you do. That's absolutely 100% true. Ask the Buffalo Bills. Ask the Minnesota Vikings. Ask so many, you know, these teams that have never won a Super Bowl. You absolutely do it. You know, they went all in for Brady, and they gave away things that he said, oh, that's too much. You know, paying this guy this much, that much. How are they doing the salary cap? You're pushing it to the future. You're going to be hamstrung. Well, you know what? Keep pushing it to the future. This team is ready to win now. It's still stocked and loaded. It needs an experienced quarterback, and you go get the best one you can. And I think as I've reiterated, it's Russell Wilson. And I think you can get him for a couple of 1s and maybe a player, a couple of 1s and a 3, and I would do it. Absolutely. 100% I would do it. NFL announced yesterday the Washington football team, now known as the Commanders. Your thoughts on the Commanders?
Just has very much so AAF vibes. You know
what?
The AAF. Remember the AAF?
Yes.
The 3-week football league. It just feels like an XFL name. You know, and you know what? The more I thought about it, the name doesn't really offend me that much.
Yeah.
I can get with the name. Those uniforms are hideous. Hideous. I mean, have you looked at those uniforms yet?
Yes, they're awful.
That's awful. I mean, that white one with that, whatever that design is inside the numbers, it's like that Rams template. I really hope that's not the trend we're going with now.
Yeah.
I don't. And then the Commanders up right across the chest.
It's awful.
It looks like a high school team.
Cheese ball. By the way, speaking of the Commanders, 6 different former employees of the Washington Commanders joined leaders of the U.S. House of Representatives Oversight Committee on Thursday for a roundtable discussion of workplace misconduct. Because we launched this investigation because the NFL has not been transparent about the workplace misconduct issues it uncovered within the Washington football team. Again, when the foxes guarding the hen house, you ain't finding out anything. So this investigation into Stephen Ross, of course he welcomes it because he's going to be running it. Good God, so bad. One last thought I know we only have a minute left, but I just want to say things are turning. Things are turning drastically, I think, in this country. And the truth is coming out in so much, big investigation done by Johns Hopkins showed yesterday that lockdowns did not work and caused incredible damage to this country and should never be used again. And further, that Tony Fauci has led us down the wrong road from the very, very beginning. How that guy's still working and still free and has not been arrested is unbelievable. But I think the truth is finally showing. Thank you, Joe Rogan. Thank you for all the brave souls that have been talking about this for a long, long time. The courageous people that stepped up, not just this year, but last year, and finally got the people to open their eyes. And I think we're getting back to that. And that's a good thing for this country. Censorship has never been on the right side of history, folks. Don't ever support it in any way, shape, or form. All right. Thanks to all our guests today. We'll be back tomorrow with another fantastic show. See you then.